Hello everyone, and welcome back to Tree of Life Tarot. My name is Katie, and this is going to be the weekly reading for the week starting Monday, March 23rd. So we're going to do a Celtic cross for the week. Alright. I hope everyone had a wonderful... Can you see that? Yes. Vernal spring equinox. We are well on our way into spring now, at least in the northern hemisphere, at least where I am in the northern hemisphere. I know some of you might still be in some snowier parts. Let's see. All right, both of these came out for the top. I'm seeing some familiar cards. Oh, tower at the bottom. And all the cards wanted to come out right there. Okay. Oh my gosh. All right. You see this? Yeah. We also had that beautiful and powerful Pisces new moon last week. So wondering how that's settling for everyone. Those energies take a few days to integrate and settle, and in this case start to build. Ooh, that one, not that one. Magician. Okay, here we go. Bottom of the deck is the Fool. Put him over here for now. Okay, so starting off for this week, March 23rd, we've got 8 of Pentacles and 2 of Wands. Now, the 8 of Pentacles was out a fair bit last week, and I remember it coming out in reverse over the weekend, and that card sort of indicated at that time that it was time to just sort of take a break and put the work down, that it might have drained you a little bit, and it might be, excuse me, my voice. You might be feeling a little bit of exhaustion, and or the work might be complete. But here we have it coming out right at the center again, which would suggest that it's time to pick the work back up again. The weekend was a moment to pause and rest, and here we are working towards the dream. So, 2 of Wands, surveying new horizons, potentialities, possibilities, and doing the work to move towards. And this giving me a sense of, it's, what's that phrase? As you step onto the way appears. Is that it? As you take the steps, the path appears. And that's a little bit what I'm getting here, because we're looking out into the horizons, seeing what's there, seeing what's possible, and doing the work at the same time. So this is saying to me, as you do the work, the steps become more clear. As you're in the process begins to unfold and open the doors and establish the connections and line things up. So it's, what it's kind of saying is, don't procrastinate, just get into the work. Even if you're not entirely sure where the work is going, getting into that work is going to illuminate the path. But it's only going to be kind of one step at a time, one piece at a time. So, as I'm being redundant now, as you step onto the way, as you do the work appears. The work will reveal the path. So, that's what's happening here at the center. So, recent past energy, Queen of Swords, getting the mind right, getting clear. There's something a little bit here about boundaries also. You may have had a need to protect your time, protect your boundaries a bit in order to do this work, because this is signaling, and I'm not saying blowing up your life and changing everything, but shifting your focus and aligning your boundaries, your time management, your priorities around allowing this work and this sort of new, small steps into a new way of being to begin. So I'm seeing here setting boundaries, getting the mind organized, in service of this work. And then here we have in the near future, and I'm getting this more you than anyone else, is having gotten that clarity, established the boundaries, doing the work. It's coming into this King of Pentacles energy. It's having, I mean, he's so lush and abundant here and kind of sitting pretty with this pentacle. This is building that new stability. It's building that, it's grounding it all. So that, like, literally, I mean, it's the decoration on his clothes, but it looks like he is growing grapes. And this is a masculine, you know, we associate fertility more with the feminine, but this is a very fertile masculine. This is a very grounded, very strong, ruling energy. So, master of his domain, very fertile. So, self-generating, which is what this work is accomplishing. As you do the work, this self-sustaining abundance and fertility arises and overflows. And of course, we talked about the individual versus the collective, not versus, and the collective. That, you know, giving from a place of overflow, ruling from a place of overflow, being a master of your domain because you have generated so much that it's overflowing and it can't help but influence and saturate the world around you. So that's a beautiful energy to be sitting in. So top here, crowning energy, we've got the Ace of Swords and the Empress. And this echoes to me a little bit of this Queen of Swords here. We've got that divine feminine and that mental clarity, that clear new beginning, that singular vision. And this is almost like amping it up a little bit. She's got all the abundance of the King of Pentacles and then some. And she's got this sword to, I'm hearing, let me finish the sentence. She's got this sword to cut through anything that's in her way, to cut through any confusion, to cut through any tangles, to cut through any brush, because she's clear. Now, what also was coming through was, oh my gosh, the words completely went out of my head. I tried to finish one sentence and I lost the other. But she is ruler of her domain. She does not chase, she attracts. And this is almost like a lightning rod for her energy, grounding everything in. Now, speaking of lightning, down here at the bottom, we've got the Tower. So sudden, abrupt, unexpected change. And the Tower, you know, not a card to fear. The Tower can be wonderful. It cannot feel good in the moment, but it can be wonderful. So there could be, brewing beneath the surface here, some abrupt, quick change. And with the shift in mindset, with this illuminated mindset and clarity, you know, changing your mind changes your outer circumstances. And I think these are all these sort of circumstances and energies and capacities kind of working together and playing off each other. So as something internal shifts, it shifts the external. But as the external shifts more, the internal is also required to adjust as well. And so they're constantly kind of pinging off of each other, setting off a chain reaction of change. And again, this doesn't feel like wholesale change. This feels like incremental metamorphosis, even within your own context. There's no movement here. We don't have to go anywhere. This is happening where we are within our current context already. So there is a certain metamorphosis underway. And so there's, you know, the divine orchestration of a change here. The lightning on this card strikes the crown and knocks it off. The crown representing the mind, the head, sort of that, you know, the mental constructs that we live from. And this could be the death of an idea, but up here, we have the birth of a new one. We have literally, she is fertility, going to give birth. She's often depicted as pregnant. And this Ace of Swords, this new idea. So the death of the old ideas and the new ideas coming in, this new, clearer idea, is fertility itself, similar to our King of Pentacles here. It is a much more generative, life-giving idea. So it's okay to let this crown fall. It's okay, because a new, better idea, an idea meaning way of seeing, way of being, vision for the future, vision for your project, vision for the relationship, is coming into being. So whatever is falling away, it's okay. Now, let's move over to the side here. We've got some interesting energy here. So we start with, down at the bottom here, the Three of Pentacles in reverse. Now this is sort of how the universe is shaping the situation, and this one does feel tied a bit to the Tower to me. This is a card of collaboration, cooperation, also having a master plan. When it's upright, this person here is sort of holding like the architectural design, and here's this master craftsman working on bringing it into fruition. Now it's in reverse here, which can signal difficulties in collaborations, difficulties in teamwork, plans going awry. So that might be just a little bit of a heads up that there could be some complications in collaborations or plans going amiss at this time. However, from what we've seen here and with this Tower, it's all in service of something good. So it's always difficult. We, are creatures of control. We love things to go how we think they should go. And it can be very, disturbing and disrupting when that does not happen. But what this is all indicating is that any disruptions and changes are just part of that chain reaction and part of that metamorphosis to get things to a better place. So it's a very cheesy cliche and nobody ever wants to hear it, but in the midst of something, there's nothing disastrous here. But when things aren't working out, have in the back of your mind, I can't wait to see how this works out for good. Because if something is not working, that often means something better is being orchestrated. And that is what we see here. So don't let this derail you too much, because Ace of Wands here, the environment, there's new energy all around. There's all of this inspiration. This is fertility. This is action. This is passion. This is an ace, so it's a beginning of a new cycle. So it's growing. It's this, whatever seeds have been planted, it's spring now, they're ready to sprout. So this is a continuation. Whatever's not working out here, it's okay, because this is growing out of it. We're still moving in the right direction. And here we have your hopes and fears. And maybe independently or maybe residually of some of these disruptions here, there's a fear about manipulation, about being lied to, about, it's also a card of strategy, but this could be either concerns about the people you are involved with, taking advantage, manipulating, lying, related to this collaboration complication here. It could also be you in your head kind of seeing ghosts over your shoulder. This guy's looking over your shoulder and feeling an excessive amount of need to control, overcorrect, get the upper hand in the situation, or try to make sure that you have the upper hand, or at least feel that you have the upper hand, to ward off against any insecurity that might be arising as a result of these, disruptions down here, which again, not disastrous disruptions, but complications, which any time you're in a group dynamic, you're going to have some friction. You're going to have some ups and downs. Things are going to go sideways. So that's okay. So don't let this fear take over. There is not a need to overcorrect or, disarm, unsword someone, a perceived opponent. I don't even want to say be vigilant. Just be aware. Be aware of what's going on in your surroundings. But be mindful not to let this is a fear card. This is your perception here. So this isn't saying this is absolutely what's happening. This is saying this is what you may be perceiving is happening, what you're afraid of. So recognize that fear when it comes up for what it is. And then outcome here we have the Magician, pulling all of the elements together, creating something new, having the elements at his command. So whatever this is, the Magician is someone who takes all of the elements of nature and can combine them, can make and can unmake by understanding the laws of how things work. And this is where you find yourself sitting towards the end of the week. So out of chaos can always come new creation if it is directed well, with a clear vision, with a clear, fertile vision. So this is where we have the potential to end up. So as any difficulties arise, there's probably going to be a lot of work, but it is moving towards stability. And this is just part of the process of getting there. This is part of the metamorphosis. Magician, all about metamorphosis, transforming one thing into another. So do not be derailed by complications. Let it be part of the process of transformation. And with that, I will leave it there. Thank you for being here, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.